What's up, YouTube? It's ZTAY, aka Lil Red. Listen, we're back and it's been a minute, and today we're talking about the Golden State Warriors. If you guys haven't seen, I made a little breakdown video last season during the play-in tournament because I wanted to see, was Klay Thompson really the problem or was he just a scapegoat? But we're not even going to be talking about Klay Thompson in this video, alright? We already talked about him way too much. We're going to be making videos every single day up to preseason because, like, bro, what else do I even do? I don't know what to do now that basketball's not on for real, besides play 2K. But my expectations for all the teams I'm gonna be reacting to the whole season before we even get into it, and it's like one video per team, so I can really deep dive into, you know, how I'm really feeling about these teams. First team up is the Golden State Warriors. We're also doing the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, of course my LA Lakers, Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that's it. But okay, all right, let's get into the Warriors thing. All right, there's gonna be a couple of little tools that I'm gonna use, or categories I'm gonna use when it comes to me trying to place expectations on some of these teams. And the first one is going to be the team's roster, the personnel. Do they have enough pieces to complete the puzzle? And you guys are gonna hear me saying that phrase a lot. And what I mean by that is, do all the players fit together to form a puzzle, or in other words, a team that can form good connection together? All right, so let's go take a look at the roster. All right, this is not official, okay? Of course, they have not announced the starting lineups, but I found this off Google, the little depth chart thing, projection, all right? We know they still got Steph Curry and Draymond Green, and we know those two are going to be in the starting lineups, but those are the only two names that are set in stone, if you're going to bet on it, I guess. But I already know Brandon Podziemski's starting. They believe in this guy. There's a reason they felt comfortable enough to let Klay walk, and that is because they trust in Brandon Podziemski. And I've seen during the season a lot, they were not very patient with Klay Thompson, and whenever Klay would mess up, boom, he's getting out the game. Pod's go in the game. Pod's coming into his second year. I expect a huge jump from him, especially with the minutes that he's probably going to be given. So in my opinion, Brandon Podziemski is going to be in the starting lineup. Andrew Wiggins, we've seen him in trade talks. They're trying to trade him for Paul George. They even told him to not play in the Olympics because we're trying to trade you, basically, and he agreed with it. So I don't know where his head is at when it comes to being on this team. And then on top of that, we've seen what happened with his family, and we've seen what he was actually going through in the season last year. And there's so many fans that were very hard on him because he wasn't playing and he missing games. But hey, family comes first before everything, so prayers up to the Wiggins family. But I do fully expect Andrew Wiggins to be in the starting lineup. Maybe. What do you guys think? It's either between Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga, because in my opinion, it's so hard after seeing the potential of Jonathan Kuminga to put him on the bench. But then that means either Trayce Jackson-Davis, Wiggins, or Pods got to go to the bench, and I don't think it's going to be Pods. And then we'll talk about Trayce Jackson-Davis. You know, year 2, second round pick, impressed a lot of people, and he can be kind of like a Derek Lively, a big lob threat in the pick and roll. And on paper, it seems really smart to play him at center and then move Draymond back to the 4, because that means Draymond could, you know, be guarding all the pick and rolls, and Trayce can have help behind it, which is the strategy that they use in the play-in tournament versus the Kings. But then on the spacing is going to be a little bit rough because defense is going to be able to hide on Trayce and Draymond Green and help a lot off of them, which is like, okay, do you start Jonathan Kuminga and put Draymond Green at center? Another thing that I'm kind of worried about with the Warriors is that their tallest player on this team is 6'9", and that's Trayce Jackson-Davis, and then also Kevon Looney. Both 6'9". I believe Kyle Anderson might be 6'9" too. This team is very small. They do not have a 7-footer on this roster. They don't even have a 6'10" player on this roster. But at the same time, the Warriors are like the one team in the league that I think gets away with that every single year. But because of Steph Curry and Draymond Green, let's be honest. And then we look at some of the backups. They added De'Anthony Melton. I think that's a really good pickup. De'Anthony Melton is a very, very, very solid point guard in the NBA. He could start if you really need him to. So I think this is a perfect addition for the Warriors. It allows them to let Chris Paul walk and get rid of that contract, which is what they were doing basically in the first point when they traded Jordan Poole, because they needed to shed that contract. They knew that they messed up. So then they let Chris Paul walk, and they needed another guard, and they got one of the best guards available on the market in De'Anthony Melton. I'm actually high on De'Anthony Melton, and I think he's going to be the perfect addition to that Warriors bench. And I think that's something that the Warriors have kind of lacked in the last couple of seasons is bench scoring. And I think they wanted Jordan Poole to be that. And it just didn't work out. And I honestly think deep down, Steve Kerr kind of wants Jonathan Kuminga to be that guy. But in my opinion, I think Jonathan Kuminga could be the second best player on this team easily. So I don't think Jonathan Kuminga should be coming off the bench. Which is like, okay, who is going to not be in that starting lineup? And that's why I said there's a lot of pieces, but we got to form a puzzle. No matter if the puzzle's big or small, don't matter if you're contending for a championship, contending for the playoffs, the play-in, or you're just trying to win games. You're trying to put a puzzle together. And I think that's what the Warriors are going to struggle with a lot this season. And I'm going to try not to be too hard on the Warriors, but deep down, I really think the Warriors are going to struggle a little bit this year. I think they have a lot of talent on this team. It's just going to be cohesion. How are they going to work together? Buddy Hield is another name that we got to talk about because Klay Thompson is gone, and then they add another shooter, which is something that it's like, all right, who's going to step up now that Klay Thompson is gone? Obviously, Pods. They already said they want Pods being a volume shooter. I believe they said they want him shooting 9 to 10 threes a game. I don't know how I feel about that. But hey, man, he was a rookie last year. I think Pods can develop into anything. I just think that Pods is a better on-ball guard than off-ball, trying to come off a screen and catch and shoot a three. I think that's what Buddy Hield should be used for. So one thing that I'm going to be looking at during the season is how many minutes is Buddy Hield going to play? Because I think he is that perfect replacement for Klay Thompson when it comes to running off screens like the Warriors love to do and hitting threes. And I just don't see Brandon Podziemski as that guy. I don't even think he was that guy at all last year. Brandon Podziemski is the type of guy that's going to come in kind of like an Alex Caruso and give you a lot of hustle and defense and play his damn heart out, kind of like a Draymond Green. And then at the same time, he could control the offense because he plays with great pace as a point guard. He's a very underrated passer. And I think that's where his talents and strong suit is. That's why I'm saying I don't know about him coming off screens and trying to hit threes. But the good news is they got Buddy Hield. And then it's just going to be the balance between those two right there. Because I think as much as the Warriors love Brandon Podziemski, I think Buddy Hield has to get minutes. And another name I think has to get minutes is Moses Moody. I mean, it's now or never, right? It seems like the Warriors don't want him. They've already offered him in trades for Lauri Markkanen, which were crazy, by the way. But Moses Moody, I've been thinking it for the last 3 years, plays just like Klay Thompson. Like, it really is the perfect Klay Thompson replacement if you need one. Yes, Buddy Hield is probably a better shooter than Moses Moody, but Moses Moody can be that replacement. It's going to be interesting to see how much Moses Moody is going to play. And that brings me to another point, and that is just development with the youth of the Warriors. I think this year they really need to focus on developing their youth. Primarily Brandon Podziemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. Those guys right there, they need to focus on developing those guys right there. Because yes, they still have Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and even Andrew Wiggins, who I think is going to have a bounce back year. I still think the team just doesn't have enough talent to compete for a championship. I think they could they're competing for a play-in or a playoff spot, but I don't think that they have enough talent to compete for a championship with this roster. And it's something that I was talking about with my chat in one of my past live streams. Steve Kerr, really think about it. He's won 4 championships with the Warriors. Has he ever had to coach a rebuilding team? I don't know. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people see that he doesn't like to play the younger players on the team. And that is because he was brought into the Warriors situation when, Mark Jackson was fired and he was told, hey, bro, we want to contend for a title. He has always been a win now coach, which is why he's always coaching USA and the best talent in the world. He knows how to coach the best talent in the world. But now the Warriors don't have that anymore besides or outside of Stephen Curry. No more Klay Thompson in his prime. No more Kevin Durant, which we've seen they won a championship without KD. Let's be honest. But they also had Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, who was playing really, really good. But these are all vet players that I'm mentioning outside of Jordan Poole. I just want to see Steve Kerr. My point is, I just want to see him play some of these younger guys. I need to see him kind of transform into a developmental coach and play some of the youth, because you've seen last year fans were pissed. For the longest time, Jonathan Kuminga was not getting enough minutes. And then fans were pissed that Moses Moody wasn't getting any minutes at all. This is the year, Warriors fans, that those guys get big minutes. At least 15 minutes a game for Moses Moody. Like, it's time for Moses Moody. Now or never. It's now or never for Moses Moody. And Steve Kerr, I think, in my opinion, has to recognize that. Even though he has some guards also, and Buddy Hield, who he's got to get minutes, DeAnthony Melton and Brandon Podziemski. Also, we're not even talking about Gary Payton. If he could stay healthy, it's like, where does Buddy Hield and Moses Moody going to fit in with this roster? And that's one of the biggest questions for me. I think they're overloaded with guards, which is kind of the case with the Warriors every single year. They don't have enough minutes to go around, and I think Warriors fans are going to see a lot of small ball being played this year, with maybe Kyle Anderson playing center, Draymond Green playing center, and then Trey sometimes playing center as well. I also don't know where Kevon Looney's fitting in with all this. I think he's just like the vet now. It seemed like towards the end of last season, he kind of got placed in a role where he wasn't getting any minutes, and if he did, he would just come in for a little spark. And I think during that playoff run, or even 2023, one of the biggest reasons for the Warriors' success was Kevon Looney's rebounding. He's probably, not even probably, he is the best rebounder on the team. So depending on how Trayce Jackson-Davis plays, I want to see how they're going to monitor this Kevon Looney situation. And at the same time, they have another young second round pick coming up in Quinton Post, which a lot of Warriors fans are happy and excited about because he's a stretch big, which is something the Warriors been wanting, and they can't really find it. They had Dario Saric last year, but he just wasn't what they wanted him to be consistently. And I don't think Quinton Post is going to be that right away at all. I'm looking at Kyle Anderson, which is the last new addition of the roster. I honestly think Kyle Anderson is going to be the biggest surprise of the season for Golden State Warriors. I know it's like, really, you add one of the slowest shooters, you add one of the slowest players in the league, if not the slowest shooting player in the league, on one of the best shooting teams in NBA history. Well, not really anymore, but you get it, with Stephen Curry. How is that going to work? Well, he's going to play that Draymond role perfectly. We've seen how good Draymond Green has made Stephen Curry, or helped him throughout his career. Kyle Anderson is the same exact player as Draymond Green. I'm telling you right now, Kyle Anderson is going to be a big part of this Warriors rotation, which is like telling me Kevon Looney is going to lose his minutes. And Trayce Jackson-Davis, I want to see him develop, so it's going to be interesting how many minutes he gets. But I think Steve Kerr's had a history of playing vets. I think Kyle Anderson is going to get a lot of minutes. I think DeAnthony Melton is going to get a lot of minutes. We seen last year Corey Joseph was getting minutes. If Corey Joseph is getting minutes, DeAnthony Melton is getting 20 minutes a game at this point. Damn. I think Gary Payton will try to, I don't know where Gary Payton fits in with this roster either. I think they just have a lot of talent. But like I said, can they form a puzzle with it? And then the next thing I kind of want to talk about is the Warriors schedule. So let's go take a look at the Warriors schedule. All right, so it looks like the first game of the year should be a win. They're going against probably the worst team in the West, and that's the Trailblazers. And then they're going against the Jazz. They have 2 games that are easily winnable to start the season and to gain confidence. Now, the problem is if they lose these 2 games, Warriors fans are going to go crazy. These are probably the 2 weakest teams in the West, if we're being honest, the Jazz and Trailblazers. But I believe that they're both road games, which is what it's looking like. So they're on the road to start the season. We'll see how they play on the road. But I think this is the best possible start for them. Then we got the Clippers and Pelicans. This is the first test of the season, but I think it's kind of like a slow test. It's not nothing crazy to start, but the Clippers and Pelicans are both teams competing for that playing spot, and this is where the Warriors are going to be at home. So I think if they could win those first 2 games, gain some confidence, I think those games are going to be used for the feeling out process, and then we're going to go into the Clippers and Pelicans games feeling good at home. And then we'll see where they really are fitting in with the talent of the league. And then they got the Pelicans back to back. Then the Rockets. This is going to be the tough part of the schedule. I believe they'll probably win. They'll probably lose like 2 or 3 of these games. Then they got the Wizards. That should be easy dub, right? It should be easy dub. And then the Celtics, Cavs, Thunder. This is where it's going to start getting hella hard for the Warriors, and they better be locked in. They have to have a fast start to the season. Like, if they want to make the play-in, they got to have a fast start to the season because their schedule at the beginning is easy. And this is the best time to try new stuff. That is the best time to try new lineups and see what's working, gain some chemistry. You know, it might not be blowouts and easy wins. They're going to have to be scrapping for those wins because it's a new team and a new roster. But it's the perfect time to figure it out. And then the NBA Cup starts. And that's where, oh my God, they got to play the Mavericks. And then they got to play the Grizzlies. That's tough. Clippers. Hawks are a decent team. Pelicans, Spurs are a good team now. And then they play the Nets, Thunder, Suns, Nuggets, Rockets, Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Pacers, Lakers mid. Clippers, Suns, Cavs, 76ers. Oh my goodness, their schedule starts getting real hard. Like I said, they have to get off to a good start, because then they're going against really tough teams in December and January. And December is Curry's rough months. We'll see how Curry's going to be. How's December Curry going to be this year? Because last year it didn't look good at all. No more Klay Thompson to get off to those cold starts that he's notoriously known for. So, you know, maybe they could get off to a hot start. They need to. Like I said, the first 2 weeks, they have to find something because they're going to get battle tested towards the middle half of the season. And then leading up to the All-Star break, they get a little break with the Pistons and the Raptors, but they still got to go against some talent. But at this point, yeah, they're getting a little bit break. Yeah, Bulls, Wizards, Jazz, and then it gets a little bit more tough, but Jazz, you know, Bulls. So, yeah, then once it hits that All-Star, Bucks, Mavs, Kings, Rockets, oh yeah. Yeah, okay, so after the All-Star break, this is March. This is when they're going for that play-in run, you know, historic. Let's see if the Warriors can pull it out type of thing, you know. Let's see what their schedule is looking like. All right, so right after the All-Star break, I believe it's like right here. I don't even know for sure. Hornets, Magic are going to be tough. 76ers is going to be tough, but I think Sixers are beatable maybe. Knicks, Hornets can be beatable. The Nets, Pistons, Blazers. So the good news is it starts getting a little bit easier towards the second half of the season. The first half of the season is going to be huge for the Warriors, it looks like. They have to get off to a good start. And they got to maintain it because that November, December, January stretch looks rough. Like, that looks tough. And that's when teams are really going to start finding their rhythm. So if they don't find their rhythm to start the season, they're going to get beat around by the waves at that point. But then it's going to get a little bit easier. You've seen a couple easy teams, and then it gets a little bit tougher. But yeah, these are winnable games. Raptors, Hawks, Heats, and even the Bucks. They could win all those games. And then to end the season, it's the Grizzlies, Pelicans, Spurs. Like, it looks like the first half of the season is the most important part for the Warriors. Like, they got to get off to a good start the first 2 weeks. And then after that, they got to just get battle tested, and see if they can survive. And then if they come off after All-Star break, it's going to be a little bit easier. And then maybe the rhythm could be found. But if the Warriors do not get off to a good start in the first 2 weeks, do not expect this team to make the playoffs. Like I said, preseason starting October 4th. That is in, I don't want to do the math, but in like, I don't know, 15 days maybe. Guessing. Now, until then, we are going to be doing my expectations, full team breakdowns, just like this with the roster. Oh yeah, we still have to talk about something else with the Warriors. That is storylines. This is just the end part because I don't want it to be the big thing. I'm not trying to be the clickbait guy, but let's talk about storylines. I think the biggest storyline is going to be like, all right, is Kuminga going to get pissed off because he wants his extension? Is Steve Kerr not playing him? Is Andrew Wiggins going to be good enough to play? Is he going to be in trade talks all year? Are the rumors going to get to him? Is he going to bounce back? Is Steph Curry going to handle that December slump good? Or is Steph Curry going to be consistent? Is Brandon Podzinski going to be able to shoot threes? If he's not, oh no. Is he going to have to get benched? It's going to cause controversy. Warriors fans going to get mad because they got rid of Klay Thompson for this guy and now Buddy Hield's having to replace him and Pods is kind of not being played. These are all the storylines, by the way. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Oh man, Kevon Looney is getting more minutes than Trace now. Trace's development is not looking good. He's bust. You know, these are all just the bad things that could go wrong. Okay, yeah, see, it's not, I don't have fun doing that. I don't. I'm sorry. I had to get it out the way, though. Like I said, now until October 4th, we are going to be doing my expectations, full team breakdowns for every single team. Next team is going to be the Denver Nuggets. And then it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks, Phoenix Suns, probably the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then last but not least, we'll have my Los Angeles Lakers leading up to the preseason where reactions will start up again. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I know it's been a while, but hey, listen, we got breakdown videos coming to the Patreon, so if you guys haven't go check the Patreon out, go check that description, click it, join, become a Lil Red member. Love you guys, man. This is ZTAY. Peace.